Hey, welcome back to MobilityWOD. Special interview today, the Vincent. Now, those of you who are at home who are experts in caber tossing, what the heck is that thing you throw over the, what's that called?
We throw a weight over bar. So it's
just a weight over bar.
Yeah.
It has a big name. You call one of your events the caber, and the other event is the weight over the bar.
Yeah, they got real specific in Scotland.
The point is, right now, you're the best in the world.
I am. Right
just won the World Championship for Highlands, which is amazing.
Yeah, it was a great time being over and to not only win a world title, but to do it in Scotland in front of this big giant abbey and church where King Bruce of Scotland's buried. Big field, green mountains. It's a pretty great moment in the strength career.
Right when you let the camera go, you looked around. Yeah. And you could like see it.
Birds flew off.
We were texting and true or false, haggis is awesome.
Haggis is not that bad. I like the taste of liver.
Well, what's interesting is that it's the sheep stomach that you don't actually have to eat. It's the rice thing inside that's amazing.
Yeah.
Crispy haggis. We ate it. I mean, you can get it crappy haggis at the airport. Did you get it?
No.
Oh, it's like it comes in like a haggis puck. Anyway.
And one of the guys we traveled with, he loved it in a can. He would get canned haggis and like basically go through Scotland and eat that for the 2 months he was there.
Look, I'm not doing that. I have to say that I see it. I see the truth of it. All right, so we have haggis, we have World Champion. You're also traveling around with your new sort of web project. What's going on? What's going on?
So I'm putting together, I had a blog for a while doing the Drifta Lifta, and so now that has turned into this web series.
Let me just translate Drifta Lifta.
I had a training partner a couple years ago that really thick New Orleans accent, and so he's like, you like the Drifta Lifta, ma. And so it is just stuck, and so I've been really fortunate enough to travel a lot, whether with work or with sport, and get to meet the people firsthand that are pushing strength sports and pushing athletes.
You do about 20 competitions a year?
I do, yeah.
That's a lot of flying. You do a lot of driving for your work as well?
I do, about 70,000 miles every 12 months.
Now, we're a competitive powerlifter, among other athletes.
Yeah,
right?
Powerlifter, weightlifter.
About a 700-pound squat. Just reference in there, right? And 1,000-pound in gear squat, which is still just 1,000 pounds and whatever. Yeah. And the point, I know like all these 1,000-pound squatters, so I'm not even impressed anymore.
Right, that's true. I'm
impressed. But the issue is, I've still seen pictures of you full cleaning over 400.
Right.
Which is a big deal. I mean, that sort of speaks. One of the things we talk about is and I love you to talk for our athletes because you're a strength athlete who's doing all these explosive sports. How do you manage the lifestyle problems, the heavy training? How are you doing those positions? Because your positions are good.
It's a lot of work, and it's the decision to commit to doing it. I mean, when I get off the road, if I'm on the road for 8 hours a day, I'm still going to go home and decide to train instead of just sit on my ass. And I'm going to decide to do, the proper recovery stuff that I'm doing, the proper stretching, and treat myself as an athlete. It's one thing I've really.
You do have great skin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if you ever go to Louisiana, I won't say this dress, mid-century modern geek. Like we were comparing fixtures, and I'm impressed. I'm like, he's the consummate man. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that.
So in that consummate man stuff, how much do you have a practice? Do you take care of your tissue? What do you do?
I do a lot of rolling. I do a lot of flossing. Lacrosse ball work.
Flossing, like Buddha flossing?
Yes, absolutely. Lacrosse ball work. Digging with a foam roller, digging with a PVC pipe, and then I do a lot of band supported stuff to try to sit in that bottom of that squat position and push through whatever corners I'm trying to find. Grab a hold of a barbell and really lean back and get the shoulders moving, dig into different spots. I'm also seeing a chiropractor for soft tissue work 3 times a month, and I'm seeing a good massage therapist that does work on athletes with ART. I'm not listening to Enya in the background and waterfall shit. I need someone that's going to fix what I'm breaking.
But to your point though, you have a practitioner, and we recommend that all our top athletes have a practitioner because you're under some amazing loads. Training volumes. You describe your, like Weather's a good friend of yours.
Right.
You describe your training sort of 5-3-1-ish block periodization for the Olympic ones.
Yeah, it was tough when I wrote the first book to think about, well, it does come out a lot like 5-3-1, but it's not fucking broke, I'm not gonna fix it. And Windler, and it's great. And I wanted to have the Olympic lifting stuff and train more for a strength athlete, not just for your beginner guy coming to the gym. The thing is, I'll never write a beginner gym lift book because he did, and it's perfect, and there's no reason to fix it. But
so we have a really sort of popular Olympic lifting club here.
Right.
Cal Strength was here yesterday, for example. We got a lot of athletes coming in. What are the biggest mistakes that young strength athletes, because you're in a power sport, that they're making? What are some of the things you're like, don't do this?
I think there's not enough time spent working on the technical side of whatever lift it is you're going to do. Getting stronger is very easy, and you don't have to hammer it in there by doing, for me, doing 10 squat sessions a week, or front squatting 10 times a week, or trying to hit a max in the clean and jerk, a max in the snatch every day. Instead, working a little bit sub-maximal weight, and that way you're building the work volume, and that's what's going to build the strength over time. It's going to be
and the tissue robustness.
Right.
There's been a lot of people lately talking about, hey, let's just do some bodybuilding because we just need to get our connective tissues to be able to handle the loads. And sometimes we get strong fast, but we just don't have 2 decades of old man strength to lean on.
Right, and seeing guys do stuff where you tear a bicep or you break a tendon, I mean, you got to prepare for those type of things just as well as anything else by doing some tendon strengthening and a little bit of hypertrophy work and some high volume. I like that. I spend my off season, the first thing I do is I do 10 weeks of German volume training.
That would be 10 sets of 10 for those of you. For 10 weeks, 10 sets of 10.
The weights aren't heavy. I start at
squatting, deadlifting,
squat, deadlift, overhead press, and bench, and use the Olympic lifts during that time as basically an accessory. Keep them really light, just so the movement pattern stays in. And
that's how I think about heavy clean jerks. It's an accessory.
Yeah, well, they're not heavy.
World champion.
Shit, no, they're really light, and so I stick around for that as like a restorative period for me, where I'm trying to regain what I've destroyed throughout the season of traveling now that I have time to spend it in the gym again.
How hard is it to, we work with a lot of professional teams and really made a switch to, hey, we're going to train through the season. Do you find, are you your freshest, best self in the beginning of the season? How do you manage that 20-week, which is not, it's longer than 20 weeks. How do you manage that?
For throwing, for sure, with a season that long, you've got to make a decision and commit to when do you want to be your best. Because I can't be my best for 20 weeks. I've got to decide that what's important, I need to be my best at the World Championships in August. So I'm not going to be 100% in April. I need to be getting stronger in April and working technique, and then as it switches more to this part of the season, the heavy weights have got to go away, and it's got to be more sport specific, where I'm going to push throwing technique, throwing volume, to where those things become the muscle memory, to where I can really push being able to go out at that competition and know that A, B, and C are going to happen when I throw, and I can just address the one cue to hit what I need to hit.
That's right.
And I think that applies to weightlifting or any other highly technical sport. I mean, same with powerlifting.
Do you have a down period? Because you train by yourself in your garage, but yet, and this is crucial, you have a community of coaches that you lean on all the time.
Yeah, for sure, and they're all over. You guys, Jesse and Mark, Jim Windler, guys, a lot of guys that I really
Mark
pull
Bell
to.
and Jesse Burke,
that I really pull against for help with diet, nutrition, and trying to stay more as a better athlete as a whole.
You've lost a lot of weight in the last couple of years. How's it competing a little bit lighter? What do you weigh right now?
265, 270 right now. And the last year at this time, I was probably 290, 295.
Yet 25 pounds lighter in a power sport.
Yeah.
And yet still came out with a world championship.
Yeah, I did. I was fought through a couple injury issues throughout the season, and then getting used to trying to find the recounterbalance and all the weights, and got smart enough at some point in the season to say, you're strong enough, get out of the weight room and go throw, so you can find all your leverages and points of when you need to hit the ball, be able to apply force.
There's sometimes people get confused about sports-specific training, and what we always are advocating for is you need to go do your sport.
Yep.
Like, do not forget you have to play your sport. You can clean up, reclaim function, like you've been traveling. Some squatting really opens up your hips, gets you firing in, some heavy deadlifts. Even pulling like just 50% to get things working again, right?
Yeah.
So that allows you to go do your sport.
As an athlete who competes in a sport that's not dependent on my total, all strength training is GPP work. And so my goal is to be the best I can be on the field. And if I need to go throw, it doesn't make any sense for me to spend all my time building my squat heavier if I'm a shit thrower. I need to be able to apply the force of a good squat into that, and that comes from efficient technique.
How do you film yourself training? How do you know if you're in a good position or bad position?
I definitely film myself training quite a bit. You know, can sit and there's great apps out there. The Coach's Eye app, you can break stuff down and slow it and take a look at positions and overlay, and those have been a huge help, especially training by myself without a coach. There's not a lot of Highland Games coaches.
That's right. And the reason I brought it up is we were talking about the fact that we are always looking for our athletes' tendencies, right? And that we're cultivating these good positions so that they become your default under stress.
Right.
But sometimes it takes 400 or 500 pounds before you can really see what's going on for our best athletes, right? And the only way you're going to do that is if you film that and actually go back and develop in that practice. We have talked ad nauseum about, hey, you need to see what you look like in competition so you can really find out what's going on.
Right.
All right, so getting back to some recommendations, errors, things you do, young Matt Vincent, what would you change?
Oh man, would have stuck with the mobility a lot longer. Would have not gotten really gross and fat after college for a while. Spending too many years working in bars and bouncing.
We didn't know. You didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better. You just keep eating. You keep getting stronger.
Goldman, or is it Narcissus? Goldman. You got to do both. You're both guys at the same time. Now that was a Herman Hesse reference on the MobilityWOD. I don't usually drop those, but you know what's happening. Plans for the future?
Gonna keep training hard, keep throwing, and working on the web series and keep writing.
Where will we find this web series?
It's gonna be on mattvincent.net, as long as that's as well as the books are there. Strength Lab is my general strength book for athletes, and then Throwing Lab and Training Lab are both for the Highland Games.
How much time? I know you're training heavy. You got you just won.
Yep.
You got a competition next weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, coming up 2 days.
So is this like the Tour de France when you win the Tour de France and you got to go compete the next weekend?
I guess, yeah. I got this one. I got another one next weekend in Colorado, a week off, and 2 more.
Now, do you feel like there's pressure now because you're the man?
No.
Is that a big bullseye?
Yeah. As much as anything else. You know, there's 4 guys from the World Championship that are going to be there, and so it's going to be a fight this weekend. So we're gonna give it hell.
Are you going to train this week?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Love it. Hey, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
MattVincent.net.
Yep.
For the info, World Champ. I can't wait to watch your series because you've got some characters that I'm not gonna lie.
Should be interesting.
See you guys tomorrow. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome, brother.
That's awesome.